Fight like Big Mac!
Alright, are you ready to rock?
Yeah! Of course.
Hello and welcome to Atop the Fourth Wall Live! No, sorry, I said it again. Hello and welcome to House of Atop the Fourth Wall Live! On the name. If this is your first time at one of my live shows, or in fact seeing Atop the Fourth Wall in any form, just remember, you're too late, your souls already belong to me. Now, the comments for the last live show had people saying that they were upset about how many people talked during it. I don't really care all that much if you react vocally, just try to make sure your comments are funny too. Lord knows they're probably funnier than mine, at least. Also, since I'm reading from a script, I apologize in advance if I flub a line or slur my words. Now, being in Canada for the first time in my life, naturally, I should review a comic that takes place in Canada. But instead of doing that, I decided to review something about toys from the 80s. Allow me to introduce you to Spiral Zone. Spiral Zone was based on a Japanese toy line made by Bandai from 1985 to 1988. In 1987, there was an animated series based on it, and Tonka acquired the license to it and made new toys. And naturally, for a series with such staying power as this, that I'm sure you've all heard of this before, there was a comic book tie-in series. Oh dear. It lasted 4 issues and was made by DC. Yep, Marvel got to produce comics based on Transformers and G.I. Joe. DC got to make comics based on Spiral Zone. So let's look at our cover, which is really just a single comic panel crushed down so they can fit their very silly logo on the top. It's like they accidentally didn't fill in the rest of the background for the cover, so just smushed it down to this one space. And what does this comic promise us? A bunch of guys in face paint holding back a guy in armor. Your father doesn't want to join us. Don't struggle, Dad. It's for the best. Join us, Father. There is no resisting the clown society. Evil! We open in the far distant future of 2007. Barely 3 months ago, the brilliant but evil scientist known as Overlord succeeded in enveloping half the world's surface within a sinister spiral of force as the opening gambit to dominate the Earth. You know, as opposed to those really nice, genuinely compassionate spirals of force. The diabolical contrivances he devised to create and maintain this spiral zone. Oh, I get the title now. Known as the Zone Generators, spew forth noxious clouds of mysterious, crackling energy that sap those exposed to it of their free will. Ah, not unlike the effect of watching Jersey Shore for more than 5 minutes.
Snap.
Transforming them into mindless automatons, carrying out Overlord's demands.
Again, like Jersey
The face paint thing, well, we think that's just a fad to try to make themselves look cool in front of Overlord, but it's totally not going to work. By the way, this is apparently taking place on the moon, I guess, since we can see the Earth and all of its spirals in the sky. Or maybe Overlord just felt like being a jerk and started projecting a big image of the Earth for everyone to see while they slaved away as zombies. What a tease. But one band of intrepid heroes wages relentless warfare against the attempts of Overlord and his henchmen, the nefarious Black Widows, to extend his spiral zone over the entire planet. So what's stopping him from doing it now? Those are some pretty big rings around the planet already. You'd think he'd just set up a few more of them to finish up the hole.
No. He's waiting for something. Hey man, this is the spiral zone. This is the last level.
Anyway, our heroes are called the Zone Riders. Let's introduce them. First up is Commander Dirk Courage. Also, Sergeant Tank Schmidt. Despite the fact that he's named Tank, he's actually the guy on the lower right riding the motorized unicycle. Lieutenant Hirotaka, trademark. His parents were afraid someone would steal his name, so they made sure to actually include that as part of it. Lieutenant Max Jones, as played by Steve James of American Ninja fame. And finally, we have Corporal Katerina Anastasia, a.k.a. the Girl. On the other side, we have our villains, the Evil Black Widows. I have a marketing fail there, I think. Overlord himself, who of course decided, I've taken over the planet, so damn it, I'm gonna wear the hell out of this face paint, and nobody can stop me!
Scaramantula.
Bandit, who is just a bandit, I guess. You think they pulled their names out of a hat or something when they were deciding on their evil bad guy names?
One was called Dr. Nefarious.
Then there's Reaper, who is not feared by the seasons. Then again, who can be afraid of this guy? Somewhere along the line, he decided, okay, I've got a mohawk, a goatee, and a unibrow. What else do I need? Oh, right, a thing that goes over part of my face to hide my nose. Finally, we have Razorback, a.k.a. Two-Face, and Duchess Dyer, a.k.a. Female Two-Face. You gotta love how this was laid out, by the way. The headshots of our heroes are on the left, where all the evil Black Widows are, and the headshots of the evil Black Widows are on the side of the Zone Riders.
The fuck?
The two groups are fighting inside of Paris, which we're informed is half inside of a spiral zone and half inside. Overlord really went half-assed with his world conquest plans, didn't he?
There's a lot of budget.
And Schmidt thinks to himself, right in the middle of a battle no less, about his backstory. He's lost his son somewhere in the zone, and we even get a flashback of him playing soccer with his son, punctuated with awkward dialogue. It is your turn to play goalie, Father. I do not know how to use contractions, Father. Also, this is a pet peeve of mine, but does any kid ever refer to their father as father?
No.
Say, no, not dad or daddy, anything. Father? It's just weird to me, like how a robot would act.
Maybe she needs
Already you are becoming too quick and agile for your poor old man. Then again, maybe they're both robots.
Maybe that explains why they can't use contractions.
Data, actually. I'll be by your side soon, Joey. Sooner than you think. Only yesterday, I received an anonymous tip informing me of your whereabouts. I really have to thank that Nigerian prince after the very instant I'm able, I'll fly to your rescue. Yeah, because anonymous tips are just the most reliable thing ever when half the planet is under the control of a supervillain.
Crime Stoppers.
After Tank Schmidt gets attacked, Commander Hank Bravery steps up to defend him.
Hank Bravery.
Uh-oh, no way am I gonna go up against Dirk Courage one-on-one. I'm scramming out of here while the scramming's good. Sorry, dude, the scramming expired like 2 days ago.
World down.
Hang in there, good buddy. So in 2007, we were talking like 1970s CB radio operators. Breaker, breaker, we got Overlord and his spin zone coming up on the big slab. Better put one foot on the floor and head back to Patch City before they put a bear in the air. Come on.
I thought US 1 was Marvel.
Sometime later, within the Rocky Mountain headquarters of Mission Command Central, the multinational scientific and military brain trust set up by the UN to combat the menace of the spiral zone. Okay, guys, from the looks of things, Overlord has about 4 guys working for him. Instead of setting up an expensive task force with guys who wear laser jetpacks, maybe he should have just bombed the hell out of him. Just saying. Anyway, Tank Schmidt is being examined by the medical staff, who have clipboards attached to their shoulders, because science. Himmel, you white-coated fanatics have devised more tortures than Overlord.
You magnificent bastard, have read your book!
Yep, those white-coated fanatics in orange.
Oh my!
Can't do their tests. We see he's, chained to his bed. Seriously, look at that. He's got restraints all over him. Are we sure the Zone Riders are the good guys?
We're gonna ride the zone.
I'll think on it.
You win. Also, Professor Wiley on the left here has got his own shoulder-mounted clipboard, but it's curved because, I don't know, maybe it's a mirror and he's afraid he'll forget what he looks like.
Science!
He's tanning.
Commander Tom Fearless has come to visit and check up on Tank while also wearing a big harness on him. Ah, the far-out fashions of 2007!
We've certainly come a long way.
Later, Commander Harvey Daring is wondering to himself about their last battle. And why did Overlord launch that frontal assault in Paris when stealth and cunning are more his style? Oh yeah, just look at this guy. A man like this, sneakier than Solid Snake. Dirk begins to wonder if this was a distraction to keep them from something important, especially since Bandit wasn't part of the attack force. We cut to Canada in the summertime.
There it is!
I kid, it's Minnesota.
Boiling out there.
Actually, it's the remote Arctic, a region apparently unaffected by the spiral zone. By the way, every single time they call it the spiral zone, I keep thinking this is going to turn into some weird Uzumaki fanfic. So, Uzumaki, really. Bandit of the evil Black Widows has come to take control of the Eskimos in the region. Naturally, being in the Arctic, he's wearing a huge Santaran helmet, but no protection for his exposed arms. Also, all of his dialogue should sound like this.
So basically, Bane and New. What?
However, the Eskimos can understand him despite that and try to run when he says he works for Overlord. However, Bandit stops them by firing the Zone Effect Cannon. As the diabolical cannon explodes amid the panicky villagers, they swiftly find themselves becoming confused, disoriented, their wills quickly deteriorating.
It's a rave. Ow, I will!
Now that I think about it, the Black Eyed Peas really are good singers. So here's a dumb question. If they have handheld cannons that work just like the Spiral Zone clouds or whatever, why the hell has Overlord been having a tough time taking over the rest of the world?
Apart. He's Gotham's reckoning.
Several hours later, the zonification process is well underway. In their present mental state, they will carry out whatever tasks we assign them. Good, let's begin. First priority, build a target so I can buy a jacket. I'm freezing my ass off. Bandit contacts Overlord and check this dude out. I may criticize the face paint, but dude's got a rockin' setup with a huge comfy chair, a 200-inch TV screen, and random buttons on the arms of the chair. He's living the dream.
That's too small for it.
He also apparently decides that this is the best time to exposit about his backstory to Bandit. Not so very long ago, when I, as Dr. James Bent, became the youngest scientist ever to assume command of NASA's Military Research Space Facility. Overlord's real name is James Bent. Dude, you have one of the easiest campaign slogans ever! It especially works because you're using mind control. Get bent! The other scientists stood in awe of my genius, all except Dr. Harold Lawrence, General McFarland's second in command, who regarded my ideas with skepticism and suspicion. Dr. Bent, I don't get why we need to make twin clones of Hitler. When I showed him my radical new plan for bringing about complete global peace by destroying the free will of every human being on Earth, the narrow-minded fool turned me down cold! Gee, I wonder why he did that.
I will lose my mind laser and make him lick from the dog bowl.
He said only funny comments.
But did I abandon my great dream? No! I labored on in secret and defected to the Soviet Union, offering my ingenious plan to them. Fearing a global Armageddon that would annihilate mankind, they rejected my scheme as well. Okay, seriously, nobody is interested in the mind control ray. Not even as a weapon in the Cold War? Really?
In 2007.
Still a few years ago.
Of course, man. It's so much more peaceful in 2007.
Of course.
Bush years. All the more reason.
I'm not getting into that. Momentarily thwarted, I returned to NASA. When Lawrence used his influence to assign me to a relatively low-level position, I vowed revenge!
Avenge me!
Dude, maybe you got demoted because you tried to sell a mind control ray to the Soviets! I'm actually really surprised you were allowed to get a job at NASA again anyway. I would think that might make it difficult to get good references on your resume.
What do mind control rays have to do with astrophysics?
Because science!
Of course, don't you know anything about science?
There you go.
So, long story short, he commandeered a space shuttle and launched his spiral zone generators, allowing him to take control of half the planet. And although the entire United Nations have joined forces to oppose me, they have proven powerless to undo the deadening zonification that envelops half the world. Damn it! No matter how many sanctions we impose on the spiral zone, it doesn't seem to halt the mind-controlling supervillain. After establishing the Chrysler Building in New York City as my personal headquarters, thanks for the clarification, Overlord. I thought you meant the Chrysler Building in Ottawa. I formed a new group of lieutenants, the Black Widows, to aid me in carrying out my noble quest to dominate the Earth.
Of course!
Wait a second. Why did he laugh right there? My God, people! Do you think that the guy with red face paint who deployed mind control machines across half the world could actually have less than noble intentions with his plan to take over the world?
No!
I'm paranoid. Together, we shall prove invincible! And together, we can be justice! You know, Overlord, you never hung up on Bandit. You've just been expositing this whole time to him instead of letting him get on with his job. You're not a very good manager, are you?
He's got a good plan.
Meanwhile, back with Commander Harold Adventurous. He's meeting with his boss while in his full combat gear because, well, we've got to sell the toys somehow.
Why does only one have
Photographs taken by one of our orbiting surveillance satellites indicate some sort of high-rise construction project taking shape in the Arctic. It may be nothing, some sort of false alarm. I mean, it could just be Captain Tax Time expanding his Arctic base. Usually he calls before he starts doing that. Commander Dirk Dick Dauntless, after wondering himself what Overlord could be up to, thinks back to how the Zone Riders were first formed. Congratulations, all of you. After a worldwide search, you 5 have been chosen to constitute an elite strike force to wage a continuing war of attrition against Overlord and his Black Widows. You 5 adults with attitude will fight Also, just a guess, but I'm pretty sure the writer of this comic doesn't know what a war of attrition is. Here's a hint. If you've only got 5 guys fighting against the mind control army of half the world, chances are a war of attrition isn't going well for your side. To enable you to function effectively within the zone, each of you has been equipped with a powerful suit of armor, constructed of the critically scarce element Neutron 90. The armor is being constructed out of an element, huh? Of course! Don't you know anything about science? You gotta wait these things. I may already make the joke. Back again.
Oh my!
You know, for kids.
I've been informed that he apparently changed his underpants.
Hey, they're a different color. I don't think he's the one who changed it.
Tank is still strapped to the table and is irritated that he's just lying there and not doing anything. Then again, I guess the restraints are made of tissue paper because he just rips them all out without any sign of effort.
Why didn't you do that before?
Please explain to me what the point of restraints are if they don't actually restrain someone. Seriously, he's not wearing his armor, and I remind you that they do not have super strength. Anyway, Tank says he's going to take advantage of all that off-duty time he has to go into a spiral zone and try to rescue his son. Back in the Arctic, Commander Blake Valiant is getting closer to the coordinates in his ship. No way can I hope to see the target with my naked eye at this altitude. Perhaps if I took off this stupid helmet, that would help my vision. Also, by the way these panels are arranged, he's apparently flying upside down. I guess Dirk Courage drank a few too many bottles of courage before flying. Anyway, he fights some robot planes. A million points to people who got that reference. If you don't, then just pretend Highway to the Danger Zone is playing instead.
Highway to the Spiral Zone. Danger Zone.
Can I get points for both?
He gets 3 gunshots at the base and then flies away. Unfortunately, despite this being made in the 80s, the plane does not transform into a robot.
I want my money back. I specifically asked for transforming robots. Betrayal.
I thought it was only a myth.
We cut to Tank hiding his big-wheeled cycle while he enters the dreaded spiral zone. I'd better hide my Zone Rider cycle in here and move ahead on foot. It'll be harder to play card games without it.
Car games on motorcycles!
There we go.
Someone was going to do it. Not to.
This sector's crawling with zone troopers. All the same, I'm keeping my particle beam weapon on stun. Zone troopers, after all, are only ordinary civilians whose minds have become so pliable that they'll do anything for Overlord, including kill for him. Hey, Steve, working hard. Hardly working, Bob. In his obsessive drive to dominate the Earth, that thief has even enslaved our children. Damn you, Justin Bieber! Anyway, Tank spots his son in the crowd. However, he's quickly found by the zone soldiers and a firefight erupts. He tries to grab his son and run, but it seems Overlord is already there, waiting next to his cycle. Duchess, take his weapons! So, Tank, you want to try using some of those weapons? I mean, look at that. It doesn't even look like Overlord is sporting a pistol or anything. Anyway, Overlord exposits that it was he who provided the anonymous tip and put a tracking device on the kid. Wait a second. You mean that anonymous tip
have seen that one coming.
Don't be sad, father. Soon you'll be a zoner, just like me.
Why not us? Why not us? Why not us? Why not us?
That's it, young man. Go to your room. And so our comic ends in the Arctic, where Bandit and his goons are building a giant statue. Courage must have succeeded in filling his camera with reconnaissance shots. Aren't you worried? Worried? Haha! Why should I? It's only a harmless statue we're building here, isn't it?
Now the people will know he was here.
What do you, the people at home, think? Anyway, this comic, okay, it's stupid. Remarkably stupid and very poorly written, but at the same time, it's full of that glorious 80s cheese to it that other properties at the time had. Still, the premise has a little bit going for it, despite the goofy execution. That's all I've got for you, so thank you, everybody! We have another 26 minutes, it looks like. Wow.
That's precise.
So, the rest of it, I think we can devote to Q&A. Woo! Yeah. I will ask to go for you first.
Alright, this question I have been thinking about for a while. Pretty much, what do you do,
Sorry.
what's going on with the whole, creator's little robot thing again?
Boyle?
Boyle. Yeah, what's going on with him right now? Like,
He's right now, he's stuck in Tom Turbo's body. Otherwise, the prop lady is currently working on the 3 new Poyo contest winners that I announced about a month or two ago. And actually, was it Feathercraft? I keep forgetting. Featherweight made me a travel Poyo, which is like collapsible, and I actually have it in my room right now. But it's like it's totally awesome. I can now bring Poyo around to places. So you'll have a temporary body for a bit while we work on the while the prop lady works on finishing up the other Poyo models.
Cool. Oh,
Nice.
one more question.
Go ahead.
Being a Let's Player, I love your Let's Play of Star Trek Elite Force. Is there any chance of you doing an Elite Force number 2?
No chance whatsoever. I'm kidding. Of course I'm going to do it. The thing about a lot of these extra projects is they take up a lot of time, and I have a lot of things gearing up in the upcoming months. Aside from trying to get History of Power Rangers Mystic Force done soon, I also keep letting that go. I also am going to be doing Long Box of the Damned this October. Every day in October, we will be reviewing a horror comic in about 3 to 4 minutes with my new horror host character, Muarte. So yeah, I will review Elite Force 2. It's just I have other stuff on the plate right now. You have your hand up next, Rick.
2 questions. You mentioned that Iron Man and Captain America are your favorite characters. Do you have any other favorite characters?
It's not that they're my favorite characters. My favorite...
When's the dance?
A lot of people are not going to know this. My favorite character is a character named Danny Chase.
Is that the Hulk's friend?
Nope. He is a DC character, a Teen Titan who everybody hates. I love him. He's a he's a 14-year-old telekinetic kid who was killed in the comics about a year or 2 into his introduction. And he did a brave, bold sacrifice, saving the world. He doesn't get a frickin' statue in Titan's Tower. Then again, there is no Titan's Tower because of the reboot, so...
Ouch.
But, I'm sorry, I totally forgot your question.
The other question is, which do you think is worse? What Frank Miller did with goddamn Batman, or what Joe Quesada did with Spider-Man?
The Joe Quesada did with Spider-Man.
Thank you.
Because that was actually in continuity. The goddamn Batman exists in its own happy little universe of what the hell. On the side.
What made you decide to first start doing these live show things during conventions?
When I was getting ready for MagFest 9, I think, they wanted to know what kind of panels I wanted to run. And I've never tried to run a panel on my own before, and I'm not good at putting together any presentations that have any kind of actual weight or thought to them. So I was like, okay, why don't I try to do a live review of a comic and see how that goes, see how the people react, see like a nice quick test to it. and it went over really, really well, to the point where actually there were like 80 people in the small room they could put me in. I can't imagine how you can imagine it, but maybe. But there were like people in the hallways too, listening in on it, and they loved it so much. It went over so well that that anytime I go to a convention now, I do a live show. But that's basically how it started. And actually, they originally wanted me to do like 3 or 4 reviews. They didn't know how much work went into actually writing up a review for this.
Yeah, it's not easy.
You want to do it?
Review comics.
Use it with Butcher.
Oh, best and worst titles of the DC relaunch.
Best titles, Demon Knights, Scott Snyder's Batman, Nightwing, I always like forget half a dozen of them. Batgirl, he's not helping either. Earth 2, World's Finest with Power Girl and Huntress.
Have you read Batwoman?
I did. Here's the thing about Batwoman, I really can't get into the writing of it. The artwork, oh my god, that's gorgeous. If you want to see someone who is actually revolutionizing how sequential art works, you look at the works of J.H. Williams III, because oh my god, does he do so many interesting things with panels and layout and design work that it just... Anyway, from this side, Stalker.
Okay, did you read the Adventure Comics storyline during the Blackest Night where Superboy and Prime got his redemption? And what did you think?
It's hard to call that a redemption. He attacked the DC offices and tried to kill Dan and Dio.
How many people have wanted to do that anyway?
I've read it, yes. I don't know if I'll ever review it. Here's the thing, it's not exactly a bad story. And it's probably the closest you'll ever get to a redemption for Superboy Prime. Because actually, there's a brief point where his parents, because he's been holding his parents hostage, because he's insane and powerful, basically like admit, we are frightened of you, and he's like genuinely like, really? Oh, wow, I didn't mean to do that. Maybe you should have thought of that before you punch people's heads off, you stupid ass printer. But it's just that brief revelation that he didn't actually like think about the consequences of his actions. That's kind of a redemption, but that's really all we get. And then he gets like a Black Lantern ring and like a dozen other rings. It's weird, but it's not bad. So that's why I haven't really thought about reviewing it. Though it would be a good excuse to pull up Superboy Prime Boys.
You did a review, like a Lester, for the Watchmen movie. What was your honest opinion of the movie? I know you like the comic.
Well, Lester's review was basically on the review of the comic. But for the movie, I did a vlog on it. I was much more mad at it at the time because I had just finished seeing the movie. And here's the thing. It's probably as close as you're going to get to a proper adaptation of Watchmen. But I hated all the things they changed. I don't mind they took out Tales of the Black Freighter because that was stupid. No, not stupid, but really kind of a very weak allegory. Supposedly, Tales of the Black Freighter was supposed to be like an allegory for what was going on with Ozymandias, but I didn't really see it. Maybe I'm just not thinking hard enough about it. But yeah, the Watchmen movie is probably as close as you're going to get to an actual adaptation of it. But again, it could have been a lot worse. I've read some of the previous scripts that were... Get this, people. Not only do they call themselves the Watchmen all throughout it, but at the very end of it, they like travel through time or to a parallel universe to our universe because our world needs heroes.
What? Why?
Yeah, I've heard about it. It was a goofy concept. So yeah, I don't hate it. It's not exactly my favorite comic book movie adaptation though.
Maybe it would work better as like a TV series. Like
if it was a mini series, that would have been really good.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, what was
Saturday Morning Watch.
I'm nutty.
My favorite thing about the Saturday Morning Watchmen, there's a bit where Rorschach is hugging Tomb's dog. Let's go for one in the back.
Have you ever considered switching to more positive reviews, or do you think you would be able to get much good material out of that?
I've thought briefly about it sometimes, and maybe at some point I'll start switching over to more positive stuff. But the thing is, I found that reviewing the crap is what's the most entertaining, because it's much more fun to bitch and moan and complain about things that really suck than it is to watch someone just heaplessly and endlessly put on praise on something because it's just the same thing. This is really good. This is really awesome. This is why it's really awesome. Da 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 da. But it's not impossible to do so because I've had a few episodes where I review something positively and still riff on it and make jokes. Otherwise, though, I think Atop the Fourth Wall itself is going to remain pretty much focused on the bad stuff, but I might do a show down the line which focuses on the good stuff. Otherwise, check out the Last Angry Geeks comic book issue show, which does focus on more positive stuff and stuff that's coming out with recommendations for people to read. Does that answer your question? Yes. Okay. You young man.
What was your least favorite comic that you reviewed?
That I reviewed. That's gonna be tricky. I usually like to say Bimbos in Time for that, just because I think it'd be obvious. Although I don't know if you ever heard this on the commentary for the Bimbos BC review I did with Brad Jones. The creator of the Bimbos in Time comic deliberately set out to make it the worst comic ever. Because Brad Jones actually does work for the guy who does that, who did Bimbos BC and Bimbos in Time and all those Bimbos movies. Because he works for him for Radiodrome. So we actually know it's him. I think that's just awesome. But otherwise, probably the Warrior comics too. Oh, I love it.
Try to handle it.
I got to decide. Let's do you, sir.
Have you ever read Beyond Watchmen yet?
No, I haven't. I'm not going to either. I'm only going to review them if or read them if I hear that they're really, really bad. Because I respect Watchmen as a work in its own right so much that that any kind of before Watchmen prequel, that kind of thing, not made by Alan Moore and David Gibbons, just feels like apocrypha and kind of sacrilegious. I know, it's a stupid attitude to take, I know, but it's just how I feel about it. But I would love for the before Watchmen to actually be really bad, because then I could review it on the show and be justified.
Are you ever going to do another Christmas shopping list episode?
I should. I really should. The problem with the Christmas shopping list episode video is that that list is ever changing. It was the same problem I had when I posted up a comic recommendations list, which I will be doing again. But like 2 weeks, or 2 or 3 weeks after that comic recommendations list comes out, DC announces their relaunch in September. Oh. So all the ongoing titles I recommended, over. So I gotta do that all over again, but I do want to do it because more so now than ever, I'm not sure why, I'm getting a lot of requests of what should I start buying, how do I get into comics, and that seems to happen periodically. Set again, user at the back, black shirt.
Will you be reviewing Spider-Man Sins Past?
No immediate plans, but I probably will at some point. For those who don't know, Sins Past was a storyline that J. Michael Straczynski wrote while he was writing Spider-Man up until One More Day, where a woman appears before him who looks like Gwen Stacy. Turns out to be Gwen Stacy's daughter.
Oh.
Now, the original plan for the storyline was that it was going to be Peter's child that he had with Gwen Stacy, and there was a period where she was away in Europe and could have had the kid. DC, Marvel Editorial put the kibosh on that, saying, no, we can't have Peter Parker have adult children because they were enhanced by spider powers or whatever, so they would age faster. So, okay, we need to have someone else be behind it. Let's have it be Norman Osborn. Yeah, Norman Osborn apparently fathered 2 children with Gwen Stacy because she was turned on by his by his hair, I guess. I don't know. Which makes the events of the night Gwen Stacy died really kind of bad in retrospect. Well, different kind of bad. Let's go to the back of the side. User.
Have you? Well, it felt like near. I'm sorry.
Do you only two quick questions?
Go ahead.
Do you only wear glasses during your reviews?
I wear glasses during my reviews and when I'm driving. I'm actually nearsighted, so all the people in the back right now, you're blurry. All the people up front, I can see you just fine. Yay. But yeah, I legally need to wear these to drive.
And are you filming any crossovers with anyone here?
Yes, I am. Lindsay Ellis and I are going to be filming a crossover review of Supergirl.
Nice.
Heavily requested on both sides for us.
Nice.
The Stallion Critic actually gets that request too. I'm going to try to do something with Maven of the Eventide, but unfortunately we kind of ran out of time to write something, so we might just film it from our respective locations, but start it out here. And you, sir, since we're interrupting, sorry.
Have you heard of the new crossover between Mega Man and Sonic?
I have not.
What?
Archie Comics is producing a Sonic Mega Man crossover.
Sounds pretty awesome.
That would be awesome.
I'm hesitant, but they both have scientists with awesome mustaches that create robots. So hey, anything's possible.
I don't read the Sonic comics.
They want to see Eggman versus Dr. Wily on
It doesn't hold my
Superjack.
interest. Sonic to me is just that guy with barely a story going around catching rings and blowing up robots.
Have you read the Eggman one?
Nope.
It's really good. It has moral dilemmas of his own kind.
We have about 5 minutes left, so I can take a few more questions before I had to start pushing you out of here. I'm afraid to can't speak. You, madam.
What's the most annoying character you've ever encountered in comics?
Yeah, it's hard to say. Super Quick Rhyme, obviously. Hal Jordan during Cry for Justice was really annoying. Someone pointed this out to me recently. Green Lantern. Remember in issue 2 of Cry for Justice, where Green Lantern and Green Arrow are on the rooftop talking to Jason Bard, and Green Lantern complains about the cold? He has a ring that lets him fly through the vacuum of space, and he's cold. Why did I not think of that?
Science?
Peter Parker in One More Day is really annoying. He whines and whines and whines about how every single thing is his fault, and my God, man! Just stop blaming. Yeah, that's a break for another day. Anyway, user in the middle. Yeah, Mike, you're great.
Okay. Thank you. Just 2 quick ones. Don't need explanations of this one. Did you read The Death of Spider-Man?
No, I didn't.
Are you reading Avengers vs. X-Men?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Now, the reason why I'm not reading didn't read Death of Spider-Man is because I don't care about the Ultimate Universe. I'm sorry, if you like it, that's great, but I just don't care. But for Avengers vs. X-Men, I wasn't reading either title to begin with. And the dilemma is kind of stupid, the more people have talked about it online, because I've been reading other people's comments about it, it sounds like it's really stupid. And it's like the 3rd or 4th time in the last 10 years that we have heroes fighting heroes in our big events. Can we get back to fighting, bad guys? I'm going to do that again, because that seemed like it was fun.
Because nerds go,
Well, I mean, it's good.
Do you have plans to review that Massive Rider comic you had in the Irate Gamer?
Eventually, yes. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. I wasn't sure. I have no idea what you're talking about. But as for the Massive Rider comic, yes, I will eventually get to that, and for the Power Rangers and Beetleborgs Metallic comic, which was originally going to be the Vice finale back when I thought every one of my storyline finales would be Power Rangers. But that got changed around because I did the Power Rangers Zeo comic later on that I was going to do, and yeah, big mess. You with the hat. Oh, I'm sorry, you were right next to the person with the hat. Oh, you have a hat on too. Oh, yeah, you're good.
I just want to know, how are you enjoying Canada so far?
Loving it so far. I wish I could see more of it other than the hotel and the mall, but it's so far you have a beautiful country. There you go.
This is about like your storylines and your hologram clone hologram. Do you ever worry that he's ever going to turn, maybe, or at least get annoyed with the job, or maybe he shamed?
Everyone lean in here.
And you watch the review, the 201st episode, because I think things are going to start taking a turn for the worse back home.
does that mean?
Spoilers. Magic, bitch. Spoilers.
Trust me.
My pants can't
And yes, I
contain
know
this.
some people have actually posted that they're kind of upset that like 3 storyline videos went up in a row, which were just convention stuff. Which is fine. I get why they do it. There is a point. I know that it doesn't seem like the storyline is progressing. It is. Trust me. This all has a point. Though part of the problem is that the storyline was supposed to start back in April. What happened was that Will's costume as the gunslinger did not get completed in time for me to want to do it. I wanted to start it off with Superman number 701, thus, having the mirror image of me going on a journey. It didn't happen that way, and Will does not, do videos professionally. He has his own job, so he only has so much free time to, film stuff with me. But of course, he loves doing it, and he loves doing Snowflame. And we'll also check back in with the Gunslinger, because the Sunday before coming here, I filmed a new bit with him and that, and you will learn a little bit more about him and his deal. Not a lot, but a little bit more, and I think you will be impressed. I think our 5 minutes are up, but I had to ask one of the panel people.
Here?
They're not here.
Maybe they were never here.
Maybe they
were never here at all.
One last question.
Let's take one last question.
This guy, he's been up here.
This guy.
His hand down.
I just wanted to know, what would have been an acceptable story for Iron Man versus Batman 3?
Okay, get this, people. I was negotiating with DC. We were going to bring Batman into the mix. No, I was a Batman. No, not Batman. I was going to bring Superman into the mix. But Superman is Captain America's brain.
Now that's epic.
I know, I would have loved it. But apparently, no, the nostalgia critic has to be bored. Preventing that. Actually, one quick thing while I'm packing back up here. Originally, that only had me as the head of like Marvel Studios or something like that. But I said, no, let's change it around so I'm owning both companies.
So would Iron Man get
better? And you like that?
So would Iron Man get his hands on?
Anyway, that's it for the panel, I'm afraid. Come to the 200th episode tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. in the theater. Bring in the 200th episode, and of course,
This thing's been on like all day.
by the way, that episode is in 2 videos, an hour and 10 minutes long total.